Welcome back, seekers of wisdom and truth. Today, we continue our deep dive into the 3 books of occult philosophy, a cornerstone of esoteric knowledge. But before we delve further into the mystical and arcane, I highly recommend you check out a few important videos to build a solid foundation. First, explore the scientific basis behind the law of attraction in this must-watch video. Understanding the science will provide you with a balanced perspective as you navigate the mysteries of the occult. Next, embark on the inspiring journey of Jose Silva and learn about the Silva method, a powerful tool for mind control and personal development. This method can greatly enhance your ability to tap into the hidden powers of your mind. Additionally, don't miss our video on the evil eye and how to protect yourself against its negative influences. This ancient belief has profound implications in various cultures, and knowing how to guard yourself is essential for any esoteric practitioner. With these insights in mind, you are now ready to embark on an enriching journey into the world of esoteric knowledge. So, let's dive into the fascinating teachings of the 3 books of occult philosophy and uncover the secrets that await us. Book 1. Chapter 11. How hidden powers are given to different things by ideas using the soul of the world and the rays of stars. And what things have the most of these powers? Platonists believe that all lower bodies are copies of higher ideas. They define an idea as a form above bodies, souls, and minds. Ideas are one, simple, pure, unchanging, indivisible, incorporeal, and eternal. They say that the nature of all ideas is the same. First, they place ideas in the greatest goodness, which is God, as a cause. They are distinguished only by relative considerations, so that everything in the world isn't just one thing without variety, and they agree in essence, so God isn't a compound substance. Second, they place them in the very intelligible itself, the soul of the world, where they differ from each other by absolute forms. In God, all ideas are one form, but in the soul of the world, they are many. These ideas are in the minds of all things, whether joined to a body or not, by a certain participation, and they become more and more distinct over time. They place them in nature as small seeds of forms infused by the ideas, and finally in matter as shadows. In the soul of the world, there are as many seminal forms of things as there are ideas in the mind of God. Using these forms, the soul of the world shapes things in the heavens above the stars and gives them certain properties. The virtues and properties of lower species depend on these stars, shapes, and properties. Each species has a celestial shape or figure that suits it, giving it a wonderful power to act, which it receives from its own idea through the seminal forms of the soul of the world. Ideas are not only the essential causes of each species, but also the causes of every virtue in the species. Many philosophers say that the properties in the nature of things, which are the operations of the ideas, are moved by certain virtues. These virtues have a certain and sure foundation, are not random, and are effective, powerful, and sufficient, doing nothing in vain. These virtues do not make mistakes in their actions except by accident, due to the impurity or inequality of the matter. This is why things of the same species can be more or less powerful depending on the purity or condition of the matter. All celestial influences can be hindered by the bad condition and insufficiency of the matter. The Platonists had a proverb that celestial virtues were given according to the quality of the matter. Virgil also mentions this when he sings, "Their natures fiery are, and from above, and from gross bodies freed, divinely move." Chapter 11. How hidden powers are infused into different things by ideas, using the soul of the world and the rays of stars. And what things have the most of these powers? Things with less of the material idea, meaning those that resemble separated things more, have stronger virtues in their operations. They are more like the actions of a separated idea. The position and shape of celestial bodies cause the excellent virtues found in lower species. Chapter 12. How specific virtues are given to particular individuals, even of the same species. Many individual things have unique gifts as wonderful as those in their species. These gifts also come from the shape and position of celestial stars. When an individual begins under a specific horoscope and celestial constellation, it gains a unique virtue to do and suffer remarkable things. This is beyond what it gets from its species and comes partly from the influence of the heavens and partly from the obedience of matter to the soul of the world. This obedience is like how our bodies respond to our souls. Our bodies move according to our thoughts and feelings, like when we are afraid or fleeing something. Similarly, celestial souls conceive various things, and matter moves obediently to them. This is why we see natural wonders, because of the imagination of superior motions. Celestial souls conceive and imagine various virtues, sometimes affecting both natural and artificial things, especially if the operator's soul is inclined the same way. Avicenna says that everything done here must have first existed in the stars and orbs' motions and conceptions. Thus, different effects, inclinations, and dispositions in things come not only from the matter, but also from various influences and forms. These are not specific differences, but peculiar and proper ones. The first cause of all things, God, unchangeable, distributes these degrees as he pleases, with the help of second causes, angelic and celestial, that arrange the corporeal matter and other things assigned to them. All virtues are given by God through the soul of the world, with particular powers of resemblances and intelligences overruling them in harmony with the rays and aspects of the stars. Chapter 13. Where the hidden powers of things come from. Everyone knows the magnet can attract iron, and that a diamond can take away this power from the magnet. Amber and jet, when rubbed and warmed, draw straw to them. The asbestos stone, once ignited, is rarely extinguished. A carbuncle shines in the dark, and the Etite stone, placed above a young plant or pregnant woman, strengthens them but causes abortion when placed below. Jasper stops bleeding, the little fish echinus stops ships, and rhubarb expels choler. The chameleon's liver, when burned, brings rain and thunder. The heliotrope stone dazzles sight and makes the wearer invisible, while the Lyocurius stone removes delusions from sight. The scent of the Liparis stone attracts all beasts, the Sinacitus stone brings up ghosts, and the Anacitus stone makes the images of gods appear. The Enisis stone, placed under someone dreaming, causes oracles. There is an herb in Ethiopia that reportedly dries up ponds and lakes and opens all things that are shut. There is another herb called latas, which Persian kings give to their ambassadors, ensuring they have plenty wherever they go. A Scythian herb, when tasted or held in the mouth, allows them to endure 12 days without food or drink. Apuleius learned from an oracle that many herbs and stones can prolong life indefinitely. But it is not allowed for people to know this, because with their short lives they commit all manner of wickedness. If they lived long lives, they would not spare even the gods. No one has shown where these powers come from, despite extensive writings on the properties of things. Not Hermes, Bacchus, Aaron, Orpheus, Theophrastus, Thebeth, Xenothemis, Zoroaster, Evax, Dioscorides, Isaac the Jew, Zacharias the Babylonian, Albertus, or Arnoldus. All these writers, including Zacharias, agree that great power and human destinies lie in the virtues of stones and herbs, but understanding their origins requires deeper thought. Alexander the Peripatetic believed these powers come from elements and their qualities, which might be true if they were of the same species. But many stone operations do not fit this idea. Plato and his followers attribute these powers to ideas, the forms of things. Avicenna links these operations to intelligences, Hermes to the stars, and Albertus to the specific forms of things. Though these authors seem to disagree, their views align in essence. God is the beginning and end of all virtues, giving the seal of ideas to his servants, the intelligences. These faithful officers mark all entrusted things with an ideal virtue, while the heavens and stars, as instruments, prepare the matter to receive these forms. The giver of forms distributes them through the intelligences, who govern all things, ensuring that the virtues of stones, herbs, metals, and other things come from these ruling intelligences. Thus, the form and virtue of things come first from ideas, then from ruling and governing intelligences, then from the heavens' aspects, and finally from the elements' temperaments, which are ordered by the heavens' influence. These operations are performed in lower things by express forms, in the heavens by disposing virtues, in intelligences by mediating rules, and in the original cause by ideas and exemplary forms. All must agree in executing the effect and virtue of everything. Every herb and stone has a wonderful virtue and operation, but stars have greater ones. Beyond the stars, everything receives much from the governing intelligences, especially from the supreme cause. All things correspond harmoniously, praising the highest maker of all things. There is no other cause for the necessity of effects than the connection of all things with the first cause and their correspondence with divine patterns and eternal ideas, where everything has its place in the exemplary world. Every virtue of herbs, stones, metals, animals, words, and all things from God is placed there. The first cause, God, works on these lower things through intelligences and the heavens, but sometimes directly by himself, creating miracles. When secondary causes, which Plato and others call handmaids, act necessarily by God's command, he can suspend them, causing the greatest miracles of God. For example, the fire in the Chaldeans' furnace did not burn the children. The sun stood still at Joshua's command. The sun moved back 10 degrees at Hezekiah's prayer, and the sun darkened when Christ was crucified, despite the full moon. These operations cannot be understood by rational discourse, magic, or any profound science, but must be learned from divine oracles only. Chapter 14 of The Spirit of the World, What It Is, and How It Unites Occult Virtues to Their Subjects. Democritus, Orpheus, and many Pythagoreans, after diligently exploring the virtues of celestial and earthly things, concluded that everything is full of God. They reasoned that nothing with extraordinary virtues could function without divine assistance. They named these divine powers in things as gods, which Zoroaster called divine allurements, Synesius termed symbolic enticements, and others referred to as lives or souls, claiming that the virtues of things depend on these. They believed that the soul extends its influence into various things, affecting and altering them. For instance, the soul of one thing can move into another, changing it and affecting its operations, like how a diamond disrupts the magnetic properties of a lodestone. The soul, being the first thing capable of self-motion, requires a medium to unite it with the inert matter of the body. This medium, according to them, is the spirit of the world, also known as the quintessence. This quintessence is a primary substance beyond the four elements, acting as a medium that connects celestial souls to physical bodies, bestowing marvelous gifts upon them. This spirit in the world functions similarly to the spirit in the human body, conveying the powers of the soul throughout the body via the quintessence. Every entity in the world contains a spark of this spirit, with some absorbing more of it than others, thus exhibiting greater virtues. This spirit is primarily received through the rays of the stars, influencing herbs, stones, metals, and animals. To utilize this spirit effectively, one must know how to extract it from the elements or use substances abundant in this spirit. Alchemists strive to separate this spirit from gold and silver. When properly extracted and projected onto similar matter, it can transform it into gold or silver. However, they can only create as much gold as the spirit extracted, as the transformation is limited to the extent of the original substance. Nonetheless, there might be other methods to achieve a more significant transformation. Chapter 15: How to discover and examine the virtues of things by way of similitude. The hidden properties of things are not derived from the element's nature, but are infused from above, often beyond our senses and reason, coming from the life and spirit of the world through the rays of the stars. These properties can only be investigated through experience and conjecture. To study these properties, one must recognize that everything gravitates towards its like, influencing and attracting similar qualities, properties, and substances. For example, salt turns everything it contacts into salt, and the nutritive virtue in animals transforms food into flesh, not plants. Likewise, excess qualities or properties in things, whether natural or acquired, can induce similar qualities in others. Fire draws fire, water attracts water, and boldness inspires boldness. Physicians know that the brain helps the brain, and lungs help lungs. Similarly, a frog's right eye heals the right eye of a person, and the left eye heals the left eye if worn in a cloth of its natural color. The same is said about a crab's eyes. For specific effects like promoting love, one should seek animals known for their loving nature, such as pigeons, turtles, sparrows, swallows, and wagtails, and use their parts associated with love. To increase boldness, one should use parts of a lion or cock. For watchfulness, the heart, head, and eyes of dogs, crows, and cocks are beneficial. Carrying a crow or bat's heart prevents sleep, while the head of a dried bat, bound to the right arm, keeps one awake. Conversely, a bat's heart under the pillow induces sleep. Animals with long lives contribute to longevity, and those with self-renewal abilities aid in rejuvenating the body. Physicians have confirmed this through certain concoctions, involving vipers, hellebore, and the flesh of similar animals, sometimes achieving remarkable results like Medea's restoration of Perilous. The blood of a bear, known for its strength, is believed to enhance bodily strength if sucked from a wound. Chapter 16: How the operations of several virtues pass from one thing into another and are communicated one to the other. You should know that natural things have such great power that they not only work on nearby objects with their virtues, but also infuse these objects with a similar power. This allows them to work on other things through the same virtue, as seen in the lodestone. The lodestone not only attracts iron rings, but also imparts a virtue to the rings, enabling them to attract other objects, a phenomenon observed by Augustine and Albertus Magnus. This concept is also illustrated by the example of a harlot, who, through her boldness and impudence, infects those around her, making them similar to herself. If someone wears a garment belonging to a harlot or uses her mirror, they will become bold, confident, impudent, and wanton. Similarly, a cloth used on a corpse can carry the properties of sadness and melancholy. The halter used for hanging also has unique properties. Pliny tells a story about a green lizard whose eyes, if blinded and placed in a glass vessel with iron or gold rings and some earth, will eventually recover sight, imbuing the rings with the power to cure sore eyes. The same effect can be achieved with rings placed in a weasel's nest or sparrow and swallow nests, which can then be used to procure love and favor. Chapter 17. How by enmity and friendship the virtues of things are to be tried and found out. It is essential to recognize that all things have relationships of friendship and enmity among themselves. Every entity has something it fears and something it delights in, which either strengthens or destroys it. For example, in the elements, fire is an enemy to water and air to earth, yet fire and air are friendly. In celestial bodies, Mercury, Jupiter, the Sun, and the Moon are friends to Saturn, while Mars and Venus are enemies. Mars is generally disliked by all planets except Venus. Friendships and enmities are stronger when celestial bodies have opposite houses or exaltations. For instance, Saturn opposes the Sun and Moon, while Jupiter opposes Mercury. However, the strongest friendships are among those with similar natures, qualities, and powers, like Mars with the Sun or Venus with the Moon. These celestial dispositions influence the inclinations of things on Earth, resulting in natural attractions and repulsions. Friendship inclinations in vegetables and minerals can be seen in the attraction of the lodestone to iron, the emerald to riches and favor, jasper to childbirth, and agate to eloquence. Some substances are drawn to fire, like bituminous clay and the root of the herb aproxis. Similarly, male and female palm trees embrace each other, and vines prefer elm trees. Almond trees and other plants also show preferences. Among animals, blackbirds and thrushes, crows and herons, and peacocks and pigeons demonstrate friendship. Some animals have affinities with plants or minerals, like cats with catnip, which induces conception without a male. Mares in Cappadocia expose themselves to the wind to conceive. Frogs, toads, snakes, and other creatures are attracted to the pass flower, which is lethal if ingested by humans. The tortoise eats oregano to counteract adder bites, and storks use oregano after eating snakes. Weasels eat rue before fighting basilisks, demonstrating these plants' effectiveness against poison. Animals also exhibit innate medicinal knowledge, like toads using rue or sage to heal wounds from other animals. Humans have learned remedies and the virtues of various substances by observing animals. Swallows, for example, use celandine to treat their young's eyes, showing its medicinal value. Animals possess an innate knowledge of medicinal herbs and natural remedies, which they use to treat their ailments. This instinctive behavior has taught humans about the healing properties of various plants. For example, when a bird is ill, it places a bay leaf in its nest to recover. Cranes, jackdaws, partridges, and blackbirds use the same method to purge their nauseous stomachs. Crows use bay leaves to counteract chameleon poison. Lions eat apes to recover from fever. Lapwings overindulge in grapes but cure themselves with southernwood. Harts, deer, taught us that dittany is excellent for extracting darts from wounds, as they use it to expel arrows. Goats in Crete do the same. Hinds, female deer, use mountain osea to purge themselves before giving birth. Animals injured by spiders eat crabs for relief, while swine bitten by snakes consume the snakes themselves to heal. Crows poisoned by a type of French toxin seek out oak for a remedy. Elephants swallow chameleons and help themselves with wild olive leaves. Bears use ants to counteract the effects of mandrakes. Waterfowl like geese and ducks cure themselves with will sage. Pigeons, turtles, and hens use pelletry of the wall. Cranes turn to bulrushes for healing. Leopards, when hurt, find relief in wolf's bane and human dung. boars use ivy, while hinds consume the herb called cinara to recover from their injuries. These behaviors highlight the animal's knowledge of natural remedies and their ability to seek out specific plants and substances to cure their ailments.